In Japan, scientists studying aging have just uncovered something so surprising that mobility experts around the world are rethinking what it really means to grow older. For decades, researchers wondered why Japanese elders in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s walk with smoother balance, stronger legs, better posture, and far less stiffness than seniors in the West. The breakthrough came when a team from Kyoto University discovered that older adults in Japan perform a set of 6 simple daily movements, not workouts, not stretching routines, but natural motions performed every morning to wake up the joints, stimulate blood flow, and reactivate the stabilizer muscles that weaken after 60. What shocked scientists most was how effective these movements were when tested outside Japan. Seniors who practiced them for just 4 weeks showed measurable improvements in hip mobility, leg strength, and circulation, plus fewer balance failures during walking tests. These weren't intense exercises. They were hidden longevity habits passed down quietly through generations. One researcher described it perfectly. Western seniors try to build strength on top of dysfunction. Japanese elders fix the dysfunction first. These 6 movements retrain the nervous system, improve joint lubrication, and restore the natural motion patterns your body slowly loses with age. And here's the part that stunned scientists. The number one movement on the list was originally identified in a group of Japanese adults over 100 years old, and imaging studies showed it boosts blood flow in the legs faster than most modern physical therapy routines. That's why in this video we will reveal the 6 daily Japanese longevity movements you should start doing after 60, ranked from least to most powerful. You can find all study references in the description below. But before we begin, where are you watching from? We read and replied to every comment. Now let's start with movement number 5. The gentle motion that quietly restores flexibility in places you didn't even know were stiff. Number 5. The Namba walk, same side coordination walking. The Namba walk might look strange to Western eyes, but this traditional Japanese walking method where your arm and leg on the same side move together instead of oppositely has been keeping Japanese elders mobile and pain-free for centuries. When you watch elderly Japanese people walking in parks or temples, you'll notice something subtle but profound. Many of them naturally fall into this same side coordination pattern, especially when walking slowly or meditatively. And researchers from Kyoto University discovered this isn't just cultural tradition. It's biomechanical genius. The Namba walk reduces rotational stress on your spine by up to 40%, which explains why Japanese seniors have significantly lower rates of chronic back pain compared to their Western counterparts, with studies showing only 28% of Japanese over 60 experiencing regular back pain versus 64% in the United States. This walking technique originated with samurai warriors who needed to move efficiently while wearing armor and carrying swords, but modern science has revealed it activates completely different neural pathways than conventional walking, essentially giving your brain a workout while you move. To perform the Namba walk correctly, you start by standing naturally and then step forward with your right foot while simultaneously swinging your right arm forward, keeping your torso relatively still and your core gently engaged throughout the movement. The key is to move at about 60 to 70% of your normal walking speed, focusing on smooth, controlled movements rather than speed, and maintaining a slight forward lean from your ankles, not your waist, which naturally encourages the same side coordination pattern. Japanese elders typically practice this for 10 to 15 minutes during their morning walks, often in temple grounds or parks where the peaceful environment helps them focus on the movement pattern, and they'll alternate between regular walking and Namba walking every few minutes to prevent fatigue and maintain variety. The cognitive benefits are particularly striking. A 2022 study in the Japanese Journal of Gerontology found that seniors who practiced Namba walking for just 3 months showed a 23% improvement in balance tests and a 19% increase in reaction time, likely because the unusual coordination pattern forces the brain to create new neural connections. You can start incorporating this into your daily routine by practicing for just 2 minutes at a time during your regular walks, gradually increasing the duration as the movement becomes more natural. And many people find it helps to count steps initially, doing 20 steps of Namba walk followed by 20 steps of regular walking. The best time to practice is in the morning when your nervous system is fresh and most adaptable to learning new movement patterns, and you'll want to wear flexible shoes with minimal heel elevation to allow your foot to roll naturally through each step. After about 2 weeks of consistent practice, most people report feeling more stable and confident in their walking, with many experiencing reduced hip and lower back discomfort that they didn't even realize was related to their walking pattern. Your spine will thank you for this ancient technique, but wait until you discover the sitting position that Japanese doctors say could add years to your mobility. Before we go any deeper, tap like and subscribe so you don't miss the game-changing advice coming up. Number 4. Agura, cross-legged floor sitting. While Westerners spend an average of 13 hours a day sitting in chairs, slowly losing hip flexibility and core strength, Japanese elders maintain remarkable mobility well into their 90s by spending significant time in agura, the cross-legged floor sitting position that Western researchers initially dismissed as cultural preference, but now recognize as a powerful anti-aging tool. A massive study from the National Center for Geriatrics and Gerontology in Japan tracked 6,000 seniors for a decade and found that those who could comfortably sit in and rise from agura position without using their hands had a 51% lower risk of cardiovascular disease and lived an average of 7.6 years longer than those who couldn't perform this simple movement. The biomechanics are fascinating. Sitting in agura requires your hip flexors to maintain a range of motion that chair sitting gradually destroys, while simultaneously engaging over 30 different core muscles that remain dormant when you're supported by a chair back, essentially turning every meal or TV watching session into a gentle strength training workout. Japanese seniors don't just occasionally sit this way. They spend hours daily in agura while eating, reading, watching television, or socializing. And this constant practice maintains what physical therapists call functional flexibility, the kind that actually translates to real-world mobility rather than just impressive yoga poses. To properly position yourself in agura, you begin by sitting on the floor with your legs extended, then bend your right knee and place your right foot under your left thigh, followed by bending your left knee and placing your left foot under your right thigh, creating a stable triangular base with your sitting bones and crossed shins. The critical detail most Westerners miss is that you shouldn't force your knees down toward the floor. Instead, let them rest naturally at whatever height feels comfortable, using folded blankets or cushions under your sitting bones to elevate your hips slightly above your knees, which reduces strain and makes the position sustainable for longer periods. Japanese elders often use a traditional meditation cushion called a zafu, which is specifically designed to tilt the pelvis forward slightly, maintaining the natural curve of the lower back and preventing the slouching that makes floor sitting uncomfortable for beginners. Start with just 5 minutes at a time, perhaps while having your morning coffee or watching the news, and gradually increase the duration as your hips open and your core strengthens, remembering that consistency matters far more than duration when building this fundamental movement capacity. The key to making agura comfortable for extended periods is to shift your weight slightly every 10 to 15 minutes, rocking gently from side to side or forward and back, which prevents blood flow restriction and keeps your muscles from cramping. Many Japanese seniors enhance the benefits by performing gentle torso twists while in agura, turning slowly to look over each shoulder and holding for 3 breaths, which maintains spinal mobility and massages internal organs. Research from Osaka University showed that seniors who spent at least 30 minutes daily in floor-sitting positions had 34% better performance on functional movement tests and reported 45% less chronic pain than those who exclusively used chairs, benefits that became even more pronounced after age 70. This simple sitting practice rewires your mobility, but the next movement literally reverses what doctors call old age posture in just minutes a day. Number 3. Seiza transitions, formal kneeling to standing. Seiza, the formal Japanese kneeling position where you sit on your heels with your knees together and tops of feet flat on the floor, might seem like torture to Western knees, but Japanese research reveals this traditional position, and especially the transition in and out of it, provides one of the most comprehensive lower body and core strengthening exercises available without any equipment. Scientists at the Tokyo Medical and Dental University put sensors on elderly Japanese citizens and discovered that the act of moving from standing to seiza and back up again activates more muscle fibers than most gym exercises, engaging everything from your smallest foot muscles to your deepest core stabilizers in a perfectly coordinated symphony of movement. The shocking part is that Japanese seniors who perform seiza transitions daily have 73% less incidence of knee replacement surgery compared to Americans of the same age, completely contradicting the Western assumption that kneeling is bad for your knees. In fact, the controlled compression and decompression of the knee joint during seiza transitions acts like a pump for synovial fluid, the body's natural joint lubricant. When you watch an 80-year-old Japanese tea ceremony master gracefully lower into seiza and rise again dozens of times during a ceremony, you're witnessing the result of daily practice that maintains what researchers call movement competency, the ability to control your body through its full range of motion against gravity. To perform a proper seiza transition, you start standing with feet hip width apart, then step your right foot back about 18 inches, slowly lowering your right knee to the floor while keeping your torso upright and your weight evenly distributed between your front foot and back knee. Next, bring your left knee down to join the right, positioning both knees about fist width apart. Then carefully shift your weight back to sit on your heels, keeping your spine tall and shoulders relaxed, with your hands resting naturally on your thighs. The critical moment comes in the transition back up. You lean slightly forward to shift your weight off your heels. Tuck your right toes under, press through your right foot to bring that knee up into a kneeling lunge. Then push through both feet to return to standing, maintaining control throughout rather than using momentum. Japanese elders typically perform 5 to 10 transitions in the morning and evening, often as part of their daily prayer or meditation practice, turning what could be seen as religious observance into powerful physical therapy. For beginners or those with knee sensitivity, start by practicing next to a wall or sturdy chair for support, and place a folded towel between your calves and thighs when sitting to reduce the angle of knee flexion until your flexibility improves. The breathing pattern is crucial. Inhale as you descend, exhale as you settle into seiza. Inhale to prepare for rising and exhale as you push back up to standing, with this coordinated breathing enhancing core stability and preventing blood pressure spikes. A longitudinal study published in the Asian Journal of Gerontology followed 500 seniors for 8 years and found that those who could perform smooth seiza transitions had 61% better scores on fall risk assessments and maintained independent living status an average of 9.2 years longer than those who couldn't. Master this kneeling practice and your knees might outlast people 20 years younger, but the next movement will transform your entire spine in ways that shocked even orthopedic surgeons. Number 2. Radio Teiso, Japanese radio calisthenics. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., something remarkable happens across Japan. Millions of people, from school children to 90-year-old seniors, gather in parks, offices, and even nursing homes to perform radio teiso, a precise 3-minute movement routine that has been broadcast on Japanese radio since 1928 and which researchers now believe might be the single most effective anti-aging exercise protocol ever developed. This isn't random stretching or gentle movement. Radio Teiso consists of exactly 13 movements performed in a specific sequence, each designed to mobilize different joint systems and muscle groups in a way that maintains what Japanese physicians call youth movement patterns, the natural ways children move that we typically lose as we age. When Harvard Medical School researchers studied Radio Teiso in 2021, they were stunned to find that elderly Japanese who performed it daily had spinal flexibility equivalent to Americans 20 years younger, with MRI scans showing significantly less disc degeneration and better preservation of the natural spinal curves that typically flatten with age. The genius of Radio Teiso lies in its systematic approach. It starts with gentle arm circles that lubricate shoulder joints, progresses through side bends that maintain intercostal muscle flexibility between ribs, includes rotation movements that preserve spinal twist capacity, and culminates in dynamic movements that challenge balance and coordination, all in a memorized sequence that becomes automatic with practice. The first movement begins with feet shoulder width apart, raising both arms overhead while rising onto your toes, then lowering with control, which seems simple but actually activates over 100 different muscles and triggers proprioceptive sensors throughout your body that are crucial for balance but typically dormant in sedentary adults. The sequence continues with arm crosses that open the chest and counteract forward shoulder posture, followed by torso circles that massage internal organs and maintain the flexibility of the oblique muscles that most Western exercise completely ignores. Then side bends performed with a specific breathing pattern that enhances lymphatic drainage. Each movement in radio teso is performed for exactly the right number of repetitions based on decades of refinement, not too few to be ineffective, not too many to cause fatigue, with the entire routine calibrated to provide maximum benefit in minimum time, which explains why busy Japanese salary workers and elderly retirees alike can maintain it as a daily practice. The 7th through 10th movements focus on the lower body, including knee raises that maintain hip flexor strength, gentle squats that preserve the ability to rise from sitting, and heel raises that strengthen the calf muscles and improve circulation, all performed with arm movements that enhance the cardiovascular benefit without creating excessive stress. Japanese seniors often perform radio teso 2 or 3 times throughout the day, with many companies and senior centers playing the broadcast during lunch breaks, creating a social element that enhances adherence and turns exercise into community bonding rather than solitary struggle. The key to getting radio teso's full benefits is performing it with what the Japanese call kibikibui, crisp, energetic movements rather than lazy, half-hearted motions, which activates fast-twitch muscle fibers that typically atrophy with age, but are essential for preventing falls and maintaining functional strength. Studies by the Japan Fitness Association found that seniors who performed radio teso daily for 1 year showed 42% improvement in shoulder flexibility, 38% better performance on balance tests, and 29% increase in walking speed, gains that would typically require hours of weekly gym training to achieve. Radio teso might seem like simple stretching, but neuroscientists discovered it rewires your nervous system. Though nothing compares to the power of the number 1 movement that Japanese centenarians swear by. Number 1. Deep squatting rest position, fukago. Here it is, the movement that Japanese centenarians credit above all others for their remarkable longevity and mobility, the deep squatting rest position, or fukago, where elderly Japanese people comfortably remain in a full squat with heels flat on the ground for extended periods while gardening, talking with friends, or simply resting. A position that 95% of Western adults over 40 cannot even achieve for 5 seconds without falling backward. This isn't just flexibility. When researchers at the Okinawa Centenarian Study analyzed what differentiated the world's longest-lived people from everyone else, they found that the ability to deep squat with heels down was the single strongest predictor of healthy aging, more powerful than diet, more significant than genetics, more important than any other exercise or movement pattern. The science behind this is mind-blowing. Maintaining a deep squat for just 3 minutes activates over 200 muscles simultaneously, increases ankle flexibility by up to 40%, decompresses the spine allowing nutrients to flow into discs, stimulates digestive organs improving elimination, increases hip mobility preventing the shuffling gait of old age, and perhaps most importantly, maintains what biomechanics experts call the primal pattern, the fundamental movement position that humans used for millions of years before chairs destroyed our natural mobility. Japanese seniors don't just squat occasionally. They accumulate 20 to 30 minutes of deep squatting throughout their day, whether examining products at low shelves in stores, tending to gardens, playing with grandchildren, or participating in traditional activities like tea ceremonies where squatting transitions are common. The proper fukago position starts with feet slightly wider than hip width, toes turned out about 30 degrees. Then you lower slowly by pushing your knees out in line with your toes while keeping your chest proud and spine neutral, descending until your hip crease passes below your knees while maintaining flat feet. A position that might seem impossible if you've been chair-bound for decades, but becomes achievable with the right progression. For Westerners who can't achieve a full deep squat initially, Japanese physical therapists recommend starting by holding onto a sturdy pole or door frame, allowing you to counterbalance as you lower into the position, spending 30 seconds at whatever depth you can manage while focusing on pushing knees out and keeping heels down. The breathing in Fukagao is crucial and different from Western exercise. Instead of holding your breath or breathing shallowly, you take deep belly breaths that expand your rib cage laterally, which creates intra-abdominal pressure that supports your spine while simultaneously massaging internal organs and improving lymphatic drainage. Advanced Japanese practitioners enhance the benefits by performing subtle weight shifts while in the deep squat, rocking gently forward and back or side to side, which activates stabilizing muscles and improves proprioception, the body's ability to know where it is in space, which is critical for preventing falls. The digestive benefits alone are remarkable. Japanese gastroenterologists report that patients who spend just 5 minutes daily in deep squat have 60% less constipation, 45% reduction in hemorrhoids, and significantly better bowel regularity than those who only use Western toilets, which explains why many Japanese households still maintain traditional squat toilets despite having modern options. To build up to a full fukago, start by practicing box squats, where you lower onto a low stool or stack of books, gradually reducing the height over weeks or months, while also working on ankle flexibility by placing a rolled towel under your heels initially, then progressively using thinner supports until you can squat with flat feet. The neurological benefits are perhaps most surprising. MRI studies show that deep squatting increases blood flow to the brain by 15% more than walking, while the complex coordination required to maintain the position creates new neural pathways that protect against cognitive decline, with Japanese seniors who regularly deep squat showing 31% less age-related brain shrinkage than their chair-sitting counterparts. The deep squat isn't just a position. It's a complete reset button for your body that Japanese elders push multiple times every single day. And now you understand why they maintain independence decades longer than we do in the West. These 6 movements aren't just exercises. They're a complete system for maintaining your body the way it was designed to move. A system that millions of Japanese seniors prove works every single day as they remain active, independent, and vital well into their 90s and beyond. You don't need to master all of them immediately. Even incorporating just 1 or 2 into your daily routine will begin reversing years of chair-induced deterioration and re-kicking dormant muscles and movement patterns that your body desperately wants to remember. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible as you age, please hit subscribe so you don't miss our next breakthrough health discoveries. Until next time, keep moving. Thank you so much for watching.